So the movie kicks off in a hospital in Seattle, where we see Samantha and Will getting some happy news. They're going to have a baby boy. Everything seems calm and normal at this point. Before heading to the airport, Will tells Samantha that he's planning to ask her father for permission to marry her. Sounds sweet, right? Well, things take a turn pretty fast. Will travels to Chicago for some business stuff, and then goes to meet Samantha's parents, Paula and Tom. The moment he walks into their home, you can feel the tension in the air. At dinner, things get even more awkward. Tom brings up that he heard Will and Samantha are planning to move in together. Then he drops this weird question. He wants to make sure that if they break up, Will won't try to claim any money Tom's ever given to Samantha. Who asks that during dinner? Will, obviously offended, says he has a good job and doesn't need Tom's money, which just sets off an argument. Paula tries to cool things down, but it's no use. Eventually, she ends the dinner to stop things from getting worse. The next morning, Will gets a video call from Samantha. He's running late for his flight, but she clearly wants to talk about what happened the night before. Then, something weird happens. There's this creepy noise, the lights go out on her end, and Samantha starts to panic. She says something's wrong. She even admits she's scared. And then the call cuts out. Now Will is seriously worried. He keeps trying to call her back, but gets nothing. At the airport, things get weirder. All flights are suddenly canceled. The news is talking about some major seismic event near Southern California, and then the broadcast cuts off. Power goes out. Chaos is brewing. Will rushes outside and sees people freaking out everywhere. He bribes a taxi driver just to get back into the city. Still no word from Samantha. He goes straight back to her parents' place and climbs the stairs, because yep, the elevator's out too. He tells them what happened. And now everyone is on edge, especially when they notice fighter jets flying over the city. Tom says he's going to drive out to find Samantha. Paul is headed to their son's place. Will insists on going with Tom, but getting out of the city? Not so easy. The roads are jammed, GPS is down, and people are looting stores. They stop at a supermarket. Tom goes in for supplies. Will tries to pump gas. That's when this random woman tries to flirt with him, but when he brushes her off, her group threatens to trash the car. Just in time, Tom comes out and pretends to offer them money, then pulls out a gun and scares them off. Will's like, "Wait, you had a gun this whole time?" And Tom just says, "Well, we still have our car, don't we?" As they try to leave the city, they hit a military blockade. Tom talks his way through by explaining they need to reach his daughter. The soldiers let them pass. Along the way, they see trains loaded with military gear heading west. And that's when they both realize this is way bigger than they thought. Later that evening, they get pulled over by a police car. Will gets out, thinking it's safe, but Tom immediately senses something's off. Turns out, the cop is a fake. As the guy goes to shoot, Tom slams the car in reverse and crashes into the fake cop's vehicle. Will jumps back in and they speed off, while the fake officer tries and fails to shoot them. Just when you think it can't get worse, the guy starts chasing them in the police car. And Tom, he tells Will to grab the gun. So things get real intense in this part of the movie. Out of nowhere, this fake cop suddenly rams into their car from behind. Tom's behind the wheel and manages to keep control, but it's chaotic. The guy pulls up next to them and Will tries to shoot, but he totally fumbles it. Turns out he doesn't even know how to load the gun properly. Tom has to give him a crash course in the middle of a high-speed chase. The cars are literally bumping into each other now. Finally, Tom spots an abandoned car on the side of the road and cleverly uses it to make the fake cop crash into it. Problem solved, for a second. But just when they think they're safe, a bunch of deer run into the road. Tom swerves to avoid them, and the car goes flying down a hill and crashes into a tree. And guess who shows up again? Yep, the fake cop. This time, he's pointing a gun right at Will, demanding he get out. But Tom's not done yet. He sneaks up from behind and just goes off on the guy, beats him until he's knocked out cold. Afterward, he tells Will, "Yeah, I think I broke some ribs." Yikes. They end up taking the cop's car and use it to tow theirs. The next day, they reach this sketchy trailer park where the locals are eyeing them like they don't belong. At the repair shop, they meet Ricky, a mechanic who agrees to fix the car. Meanwhile, the radio isn't sounding great. Communications are still down. Only ham radios and shortwaves are working. The government's gone totally silent. No one knows what the hell is going on. And the birds? They're flying in creepy, unnatural patterns. Something is seriously wrong. Tom heads to the bathroom and checks his injuries. Those ribs are definitely not okay. Then Ricky drops some bad news. She can patch up the car, but the fix won't last long. Turns out she's planning to head to California anyway, so Tom offers her a deal. Come with them. He'll pay her, and she can keep fixing the car along the way. Ricky thinks about it, and finally agrees, but only if she gets more money. Smart move. So, off they go. This time with Ricky riding shotgun. But that night, they spot a car following them. They turn off their lights and wait. Once the car passes, they follow it by just watching its taillights in the dark. But then, out of nowhere, another car comes speeding at them from the wrong side of the road. Will swerves, and boom, there's a crash. Both cars go off the road. Will checks one vehicle, no survivors. Ricky checks the other and finds a woman dead. Her husband is barely alive, mumbling something, clearly about to die. Ricky and Will want to take him to a hospital, but Tom? He shuts that idea down immediately. It's too far, and the guy won't make it. Tom and Will get back in the car, but Ricky? She's frozen, staring at the bodies they just left behind. Not exactly something you just brush off, right? Then it gets worse. Another car pulls up nearby, again, and these seriously sketchy dudes step out. Tom's instincts kick in, and he starts driving off, but Will, being the good guy, convinces him to grab Ricky first. Tom agrees, but not because he cares. He straight up tells Will he only picked her up because he asked him to. Ouch. Ricky gets offended and says she won't fix their car anymore, which makes sense. But Tom, being the hothead he is, actually shakes the car so hard she hits her face on the seat. Yeah, it's getting that toxic. Later, they stop for gas and notice something strange in the sky. The clouds are acting weird. Then, boom, lightning strikes a utility pole and this massive storm hits. Tom can barely see the road, even with the lights on, so they park under a bridge to wait it out. By morning, the weather's calm again and they hit the road. They pass a radio tower and, finally, catch a signal. But it's bad news. Still no internet. No cell service. No word from the government. It's like they're completely cut off from the world. Soon, they run into a roadblock. Some locals have blocked the way, and the sheriff isn't thrilled to see strangers. But Will proves he's one of them by listing all the locals he knows, and they're allowed through. They make a pit stop at the home of Will's friend Meg. She's clearly struggling. Her husband left on a business trip before everything went down, and she hasn't heard from him since. Will tries to comfort her, takes a much-needed shower, Ricky works on the car, and Tom refills their water bottles. But it's a heavy moment. Meg's breaking down, and there's only so much Will can do. After that emotional pause, they're back on the road. Then something strange. Again. They spot a crashed military plane. Ricky wonders if it was shot down. That's when the paranoia really starts creeping in. Later, they find a water park and decide to scavenge for supplies. Ricky, thinking she might enjoy a quick swim, jumps into a pool, only to realize the water's boiling hot. What is happening to the world? They see a military helicopter fly overhead, which only raises more questions. Inside, the place has been looted. No cash, slashed tires, but at least there's gas. Tom's injury makes it hard for him to carry the gas cans, so Will steps in. That night, something eerie happens. As they pass another antenna, their phones suddenly start buzzing, out of nowhere. Tom gets a voicemail from Samantha. It's garbled with static, but he catches the words, "I love you," before it cuts off. He tries calling Paula, but no luck. Then they see people walking along the road, coughing. The air is thick with smoke. Up ahead, they see the whole area is on fire. Ricky wants to turn back, but Will knows there's no other way. They press on through the smoke and ash. That's when they find a woman stranded with a flat tire. Ricky and Will want to help her, but suddenly, ambush. Armed men jump out. Turns out they force the woman to lure people in. The men steal their gas, and when Will tries to fight back, he gets knocked down fast. Tom tries to reach for his gun, but his injury drops him in pain. They're helpless. After forcing Ricky to fill their tank, the attackers steal all their gas and speed off. Will offers the woman a ride, but she refuses, wants to stay with her unconscious husband. What follows? A full-on car chase through the smoke. The attackers start shooting. Will rams into their car. Tom, barely hanging on, gives the gun to Ricky. She misses a few times, but finally hits their tires, flipping the vehicle. Ricky runs to get the gas cans, but one of the men won't let go. She fights hard and manages to get one back. Will sees fuel leaking and yells at her to run. Seconds later, their car explodes. They're safe, but shaken. Ricky breaks down, realizing she just killed people. Will and Tom remind her she saved them, but still, they give her space. She needs it. By sunrise, Ricky still hasn't returned to the car. Will calling out for Samantha, but she's gone. No response. Her stuff? Also gone. That's when Tom admits maybe they shouldn't have brought her along in the first place. As they continue their journey, things take a darker turn. Tom starts coughing up blood. It's clear he's not doing well. They come across a massive crash site with wrecked cars and even a whole train. Will decides to look for fuel while Tom waits. But when he gets back, he sees Tom struggling. He can't breathe. Turns out, Tom's lungs are collapsing. Will doesn't panic. He grabs a needle and stabs it into Tom's chest to release the pressure. It works. Tom can breathe again. After they get moving, Tom, knowing he doesn't have much time left, asks Will to take good care of Samantha. This sparks a heartfelt moment between them. They talk about their families, and for the first time, Tom tells Will he thinks he's a good man. He also reveals something big. He knows Samantha is pregnant and believes Will's going to be a good father. That night, they drive across a bridge lined with abandoned cars. But suddenly, they're stopped by a group of armed men. Will explains Tom is in bad shape and needs medical help. The men tell Will to bring the car forward, but he senses something's off. It's a trap, so he backs up instead. Two guys on bikes chase after them, and Will starts shooting at the rest of the group. With some slick driving, he manages to make both bikers crash. But their way is still blocked by a truck. Tom starts shooting while Will swerves the car, forcing the truck to crash off to the side. They push through and finally make it off the bridge. But then, tragedy. The whole ordeal was too much for Tom. He dies quietly in the back seat. Will stops the car, just sits there staring at Tom's body, thinking. Eventually, he keeps going, but the car breaks down in the middle of the road after night falls. Frustrated and heartbroken, Will sets the car and Tom's body on fire. A final goodbye. The next morning, Will sets off on foot. He waves down cars, but no one stops. Finally, one family does. The driver agrees to give him a lift, but only if Will gives up his gun. Will hands it over. During the ride, they try using the radio, but there's no signal. Eventually, they reach a house. Turns out it's Will's father's place. He offers to let the family stay there. After getting a few hours of sleep, Will makes a deal. They can take all the supplies if they give him their car. The man agrees. Before leaving, Will grabs his gun back. And just like that, he's ready to keep going. Will finally makes it to Seattle, but it's completely wrecked. The sky's raining ash, cars are abandoned everywhere, and the whole city looks like it's been through hell. As he walks through the destruction, he finds a fire truck and grabs a gas mask, then continues on foot, passing by cars with dead bodies still inside. It's clear this place got hit hard. Eventually, he makes it to his apartment building, but it's half collapsed. Still, he manages to climb in through a window. Inside, he finds a message on the wall from Samantha, telling him where to find her. So, without wasting time, he races to that address. When he arrives, Samantha's boyfriend Jeremiah greets him with a gun. But Samantha shows up just in time to stop him and runs to Will. The two are finally reunited. They settle in, and Will tells Samantha about her dad, Tom, saying he wouldn't have made it this far without him. That night, Will wakes up to a strange rumbling noise. He goes outside and sees the northern lights in the sky. It's beautiful, but eerie. Samantha and Jeremiah are chilling around a campfire, so Will joins them. They start talking about what happened to the city. Apparently, there was a massive quake, and the police ordered a last-minute evacuation. But Jeremiah doesn't buy the earthquake theory. He believes a nuke hit the coast and a virus shut down the power grid. Will thinks it sounds crazy, but Jeremiah keeps pushing, even asking to see Will's gun, which raises some red flags. Later, Samantha privately tells Will that she doesn't believe any of that bomb stuff either. The two finally get some intimate time together. But things get tense again when Will catches Jeremiah poking around his car. The next morning, Jeremiah says sorry for rambling the night before, blames it on the booze. Will, however, confronts him about the car. Jeremiah says he saw some kids trying to steal from it. Supposedly, they ran into the woods, so the two men go searching, but all they find are deer. At that point, Will decides it's time to leave with Samantha, and tells Jeremiah he can come too. But that's when things take a dark turn. Jeremiah says Samantha wants to stay, then turns around with his gun like he's ready to shoot. Will doesn't hesitate. He shoots Jeremiah first. But there's no time to breathe. A massive, terrifying dark cloud is rolling in fast. Will grabs Samantha, and the two of them jump in the car, speeding down the road as the storm chases them. The movie ends with them trying to outrun this monstrous cloud, desperate to survive whatever's coming next.